Hello YouTube, EMP's BladeKnight60 here, and welcome back to Intech, doing something a little different this time. We're going to go over counter traps for this format. Now, the obvious two counter traps are obviously going to be Solemn Judgment and Solemn Warning, so I ain't even going to bother going over those. No matter my opinion on it, people are going to run them. But we're going to look at some other counter trap choices that'll be decent, maybe not so decent this format. First, we'll start off with the spells. We are seeing the return of Heavy Storm. We have 3 MSTs now, and there's always been the usual variants of spell cards that you do not want to go off, such as Necro Valley for Graveskeepers, well, Tribute for Graveskeepers, Dragon Ravine, Pot of Duality, Pot of Adrice, Monster Reborn, Sword Revealing Light, Dark Hole, blah blah blah. There's a bunch of spell cards, you get the point. So, we'll look at some tech choices that you could probably do. Alright, Magic Drain. Magic Drain, of course, is negate the activation of a spell card, but your opponent has the opportunity to negate this card without actually activating anything by tossing a spell card out of their hand. This is decent for a couple of reasons. One, if they do negate it, they have to get rid of something else that they might have set up later. So if they get rid of, let's say they activate Heavy Storm, and the only spell card they got left in their hands, Dark Hole, you're not getting completely nuked. Say they activate Monster Reborn, and they really want that monster back. You activate Magic Drain, so they toss an MST for it. You got another face-down card to get rid of that card later, such as D-Prison. There you go. Magic Drain, though, is not... I really don't like this card, just because your opponent, it has too much power for your opponent, and they don't really need to activate anything. They may not mind tossing a Pot of Duality just to negate a Heavy Storm. They might be going for game. Magic Drain is probably the better one out of the 3 magic type ones, just for the pure and simple fact it's generic 1 card, discard, and then negate it and destroy it. Toss a card, it's done. So, and in some decks that might actually be handy. You got some monster you don't need in your hand right now, toss it, negate it, get rid of a Heavy Storm, you got something in the graveyard that you might want for later. And of course, the more nastier one, but a little more situational out of the 3, Curse Seal the Forbidden Spell. This was on Intech before, and people should really consider running this thing, especially now since that MST is up to 3. If you don't know it, you toss a spell card, negate the activation and effect of a spell card, and destroy it, and your opponent cannot activate spell cards with that name for the rest of the duel. So you hit their first MST, they got 2 to 1 more dead one in their deck that they can't use anymore. Also hits Pot of Duality, this is Monster Reborn, hits everything. Well, mostly everything nasty that has multiple copies of it. So this is actually not a bad idea. Of course, the 2 that mostly get run right now, Seven Tools and Dark Bribe. Of course, Seven Tools, you pay a grand, negate the activation of a trap card, destroy it, and Dark Bribe, negate something, draw a card. Dark Bribe's not exactly the best thing for spell cards, especially during your opponent's turn. Let's say you set 2, you set Dark Bribe and you set a Warning, and they just drop Heavy Storm right away, so you Dark Bribe it. They draw an MST, that kind of screws you over. Seven Tools, of course, is your trap negator, so it's actually not bad. You pay 1,000 and you're done with it. Same thing with Magic Dammer. You pay something, then you're done. That's what these 3 are. This one gives your opponent a card, so meh. Alright, effect monsters are going to be nasty, and since the setup arc's kind of gone, these next 2 probably aren't exactly the best choices anymore. Divine Wrath. No one's been running Divine Wrath because Effect Veiler's a lot more handier. They like it because you can toss it out of your hand, and it's done. Divine Wrath, of course, will get rid of that card, with once again being a toss done, but, well, you know. And Smashing Horn, of course, negates the activation of your opponent, activating an effect that will negate your special summonings, such as Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, does monster effects too. So Smashing Horn it was more for that setup arc. Now that we got 3 MST and Storm back, they can pick this crap off pretty easily. So Horn might not see much play. Same thing with Divine Wrath. So, what would I suggest for counter traps besides the usual Judgment Warning, blah de blah de blah? Well, considering all the nastier spell cards that are out there now, Magic Jammer might not be a bad idea. Neither would be Cursed Seal. Of course, everyone's going to run these no matter what, and I will suggest them, especially if you Dark Bribe during your turn. At least you got a turn to deal with that. Kind of watch when you Dark Bribe. That's all I'm saying. Of course, 7-2 is a little bit better for traps, but this will get spells during turn quicks plays. So, that was Intech for this week. Got a suggestion for Intech? PM me. Got a card suggested for Intech. I'm still doing card variants. I just like doing these little special episodes of what you run in your deck. So, that's Intech. Later.